Hi everyone, I'm Christina from Movie Musings, and today I'll be reviewing The 5-Year Engagement. It was released on April 27, 2012. This close to saying 10. It's directed by Nicholas Stoller. It stars Emily Blunt, Jason Segel, Alison Brie, Rhys Ifans, Chris Pratt, and Chris Pratt. Synopsis reads, beginning where most romantic comedies end, a look at what happens when an engaged couple, Violet and Tom, keep getting tripped up on the long walk down the aisle and the strain it puts on their relationship. It's rated R and for good measure. It's got a lot of, well, maybe I should modify that. It's not a lot, but it's a fairly good amount of cursing and profanity and nudity. But it was funny. What I really liked about There were two things that I really liked about this movie that stood out to me. The first was that it didn't really sugarcoat the fact that even such a solid couple can really face its cracks, and and even the couples they just go together, it's not all cream and roses, like when you have to give up your career and everything for your loved one to have theirs, it's a huge sacrifice, a personal sacrifice, and it shouldn't go unnoticed, as it kind of does for parts of this film. On a side note, and this was part of the nudity, I have this theory that Jason Segel really likes to show off his bum. It's like a perky bum. It's nice. Good for him. Yeah, but you'll see it again in the movie. I won't say when. I won't spoil it. Some of the scenes from some of the other trailers weren't included. Like Kevin Hart, he talks about how his theory on how the conflicts in the Middle East would be resolved if all the dudes associated with those conflicts could be put in a room and just locked in there until they all masturbated, and then there'd just be peace because they're all happy. Because apparently, according to his theory, masturbation makes everybody happy. He was a psychologist who was really enthralled and focused with the idea of masturbation, and he just made it sound so funny and at the same time so academic, which I think made it all the more funnier. Watching this film, though, it made me think, like, somebody gives Emily Blunt's character the advice that it's okay to be selfish because you shouldn't have to feel guilty for your success. You've worked very hard for it. However, that someone who gave her that advice was a single someone. And the stages are different, the mentality is different, as opposed to someone in a committed and loving relationship. It's totally different. So when she actually repeats those same words with a very almost, I'm at a loss for words, almost like an imploring tone. It's okay for me to be a little selfish. That exact spiel, it didn't go well. In fact, it totally backfired in her face. It crashed and burned. Because he took it as like, oh, I guess it's okay for you to be selfish, but I'm here giving up everything that I like and love and do for your sake. And for what? He kind of loses it at one point in the film. There's a somewhat graphic scene with frostbite. Who knew Minnesota winters could do that? No, not Minnesota. I'm thinking Minnesota because his character on How I Met Your Mother is from Minnesota, and I just kept thinking about that also during the movie. But this time, this couple moves to Michigan, so it was still an M, but whatever. Anyway, I give this movie an A-. Yeah, it delivered on its laughs. I like the ending. It still didn't cover up the future problems that this couple would face, and something else I liked about it was that there are still some questions to be answered, which is left to the audience to decipher how their story continues, not ends, because they just started. They're young and whatever. But it's like, how do you fix those situations when you're in it? And it's also, you'll never find all the solutions to the problems that arise when you're with someone. Circumstantial, personalities, whatever. So it's like, it wasn't realistic of her to put off their marriage until every single problem had a resolution. And she had to learn that, accept it, that it wasn't. By the way, one of the weddings that was shown, because there was a few weddings, was awesome. It was just like everything there, and it was fun. I was like, oh my god, if I ever, it would be like that. Oh, on a side note, and so Roger and I were talking about this later, one of the characters who was very adamant about never giving into the institution of marriage and kids and all that, of course she did. It's kind of like by saying never, that's the N word. That's my N word, by the way, never. Which is why I don't say never, because I feel like that's redundant. I say don't say never. It seems like, not just in films, but in real life, the fact that you're so adamantly against something, it's usually that you're hiding it, a secret desire to participate in whatever you're hating, or it's something it's something you secretly long for, or it's something you end up doing somehow, unless you take drastic measures to prevent it at all costs, and then it's an extreme all on its own. So it's stuff to think about, but it's not something, you don't have to go and think so hard and get a headache or something. It's not like that. It's entertaining, the movie, so I would suggest you go check it out, and thanks for checking us out as well. Bye.